Just letting you guys know you can check out my No Bleeps podcast wherever you stream podcasts or on my No Bleeps YouTube channel. Link in the description. Hey guys, it's Billy and welcome back to Spill Sesh. Today, you guys, we have got to talk about Manny Mua, which is someone that we don't honestly talk about a lot. And this is all James Charles' fault, basically. Now, before I get into anything, I want to let you guys know that today's video is sponsored by Bellway. I've talked about Bellway before. This is the Bellway Collagen in Fiber. This is part of Bellway's beauty supplements, which are made with a fiber and collagen to improve your skin from the inside. Fiber detoxifies your system to help prevent breakouts and improves the way that your body absorbs nutrients to support your skin, hair, and nails. It also helps you stay full longer. This is an organic, all-natural, keto, paleo-friendly, and gluten-free fiber supplement. It's made with a organic psyllium husk, bovine collagen, hyaluronic acid, and real fruit. It contains non-GMO ingredients and has 0 sugar. Bellway Beauty is safe to drink every day, 1 to 3 times a day. Just mix it with water. I love throwing it in smoothies. It's super easy, but if you're putting it in water, it literally just dissolves right away. It is amazing. It's not chalky. It's not chunky. They have a vegan protein and fiber. You guys can get Bellway today at getbellway.com and use my code SPILL20 to get 20% off. Once again, that is getbellway.com and use the code SPILL20 for 20% off. Now let's get into the tea. So like I said, we never really talk about Manny Mua. He's honestly stayed out of the drama since, you know, the whole Laura Lee, Jeffree Star, that drama that went down with Nikita and Gabriel Zamora, any of that mess. He has stayed very far away from drama ever since. And it's been really good for him. But this week, you guys, Manny found himself getting called out by a couple people because he was out here supporting his good old friend, James Charles. And this is because James is finally coming back out with Sisters Apparel. During the entire scandal, James really put all of his projects for the year on the back burner because, well, people weren't really big fans of James at the beginning of the year and still aren't. But he is relaunching his Sisters Apparel merch website and he is launching these jackets. Honestly, these jackets do look very comfortable. I will give him that. He is selling them in multiple different colors from vanilla latte, caramel frap, pumpkin spice, cold brew, black coffee. He is giving fall vibes to these Sisters Apparel jackets. They're honestly giving me Jeffree Star cozy collection vibes. This is definitely giving those vibes for me. But anyways, James is selling merch again. And Manny decided to show some support to James by posting on his Instagram story in the jacket. He said, "Feeling so cute and cozy in my Sisters Apparel new collection at James Charles." And he put 3 heart emojis. Now, James reposted this on his story and said, "My king." And people were definitely shocked by this one. I was pretty surprised. I mean, it's pretty rare these days that anybody wants to show public support to James Charles based on what happened. I mean, seriously, it just isn't a good look. But Manny was feeling brave and he was showing support to his friend. He even on Twitter replied to James announcing that he was coming out with these Cafe Collection jackets. He said, 5 minutes until Cafe Collection is live. Head on over to Sisters Apparel and get ready to shop. Make sure you tweet me your order confirmation so I can repost and follow you." And Manny said, "I want every color." So this definitely took me by surprise because a couple of months ago, back in June, when all of this stuff was coming out with James and people were talking about James, people felt as though Manny was subtly saying he's no longer supporting James Charles. And the reason why people felt like this was because he said in a video that he was a big fan of the Frenemies podcast. He was wearing Teddy Fresh in this video, and he was saying that on the Frenemies podcast, they talk about a lot of issues. They're talking about really important topics. They're really educating people on what's going on in the YouTube community, and they're really calling people out.
He has a podcast with Trisha Paytas called Frenemies, and honestly, that podcast, you guys, is very good. Specifically, is I feel like they have a young audience, right? I feel like they have a very young audience, and I feel like they talk about issues that are actually really important and to be informed about, you know? And I really, really like that.
And this was something that, you know, Manny was saying, and we all know that one of the big topics this year on Frenemies before it ended was James Charles. I mean, it was David Dobrik, then it was James Charles. Those were two very big stories that were covered on the podcast. I mean, Shane Dawson too, but David and James were heavily covered. And those stories dragged on for a very long time, over multiple episodes, because there just became so much information that kept growing, especially with the James story. There was so much that was coming out about James. There were so many people coming forward that people were just like, okay, well, if Manny's saying that he listens to Frenemies and he thinks that what they're talking about is important, he definitely can't support James. There's just no way. But it obviously seems like something happened where Manny is still friends with James, and it doesn't seem like he was shading James after all in that one video. So this definitely raised some red flags for some people. Somebody replied to Manny's reply to James on Twitter and said, "Just wondering, Manny, why are you still supporting James when he is a known, but you'll go so hard on the McBrooms and you want to do a podcast to be fools covering things when you're not covering James being a who should be locked up?" And this is definitely something to note. I think, it's very clear that Manny is very aware of everything that James has been called out for. He's definitely heard of everything that's happened. So for him to still show support and have his merch and post about it isn't sitting right with people, especially with Manny having this podcast with Laura. That has raised some confusion and people have some questions because on their podcast, they are discussing drama-related topics, and on the recent episode, they were even covering the McBrooms family scandal, like the recent situation going on with the entire family. And this has got to do with the Shyla Walker and Landon McBroom story, where Shyla made that video exposing the entire Ace family, like the McBrooms, all of them. And Laura and Manny were so disturbed by what Shyla had to say, and they were 100% on Shyla's side. They were just saying that, they are sick of the McBrooms. They are shocked. They are angry. Shyla's out here fighting for her life and her child because of all the manipulation. And, his mother, like, they are so passionately talking about this story and saying that, Shyla is so brave for telling her story and, coming forward against the Ace family, who's this big brand, and Laura says that she expects nothing less from the McBrooms, and, everything that's come out about them, it sounds about right. It is just a very shocking and sad story.
At some point through the video, I found myself getting really angry because the story is so dirty and just so wrong, and you just basically see this girl fighting for her life and her child.
Oh, this got dark.
Well, one, I expect nothing less.
At this point, from all the things that we have heard from the McBrooms.
This sounds right. She's really brave for telling her truth and telling what happened to her in that video.
And when people hear them talking about this, they're like, okay, but what about the people talking about James? What about those people? Those people. How do you guys feel? You feel sad or shocked? Or because it sounds like when you're telling the story that you don't want to go be friends with Austin and Landon and anybody that's a McBroom, that you would want to be friends with Shyla, that you're supporting Shyla, the person that's coming out and saying, hey, this happened to me. But with this James situation, they're seeing Manny still supporting James, and it seems to be straight crickets on that subject and why they're still supporting him, at least Manny. Definitely confusing to a ton of people, but that's kind of the situation right now. That's what's going on. This is how James got Manny in trouble because, well, he just had to come out with those jackets. If he didn't come out with those jackets, we never would have known that the two of them are friendly again. But anyways, you guys, Obviously, this is a decision that Manny has decided to make on his own. Obviously, James isn't like forcing him to be his friend, but I definitely want to know what you guys think, because there are just a ton of different opinions out there that people have on this subject, and it is super rare that we are talking about Manny, like I said. And I mean, the last time I ever made a video, it was because I thought he was shading James and they weren't friends anymore. So here we are with the complete opposite. It's definitely crazy and unexpected. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.